My name is Sophie, and today I'll be showing you how to use VEO3 to generate videos. Come and take a walk with me. VEO3 doesn't just create realistic scenes, it understands mood, motion, and storytelling. Every frame feels alive.
Things change, but I stay the same.
That's how I filmed 5 scenes without ever leaving my desk.
So before I show you the actual scenes that I've built, here's what VEO3 actually does. So basically, it's a Google AI video generator, and what you do, you type a description and it creates a full cinematic shots in 4K for you. It takes care of lighting, camera angles, even characters, and all you've got to do is just enter your text. So before we get started, let me just tell you guys how to actually access VEO3. So what we need to do is we need to go to this URL over here. I'll also put this link in the description for you guys. So once you come to this page, all you've got to do is create with Flow, and once you do that, it's going to ask you to sign in. So you can use your Gmail account if you wish to, and once you've done that, I'll see you on the other side. So once you've logged in, what you'll see is you'll probably see a blank page over here, and what this means is that what you need to do is create a new project. Now, if there's any projects that you've already created or are looking to create, then this is where you could come back to and revisit whenever you want to. But for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to start from a new project. So if I click on this, this now brings me to this prompt page over here. Now, before we start putting any of our prompts in, one of the things that I want to really call out is we have 2 options when it comes to using VEO3 when we're generating our videos. So down here, we can see 2 options, text to video and frames to video. Now, what does that mean is that if I'm just going to be creating one scene, so for example, I say a woman walking through London on a rainy day holding an umbrella, and that's all I want, then I could generate that via text to video. Now, if I want to add characters into my videos, and I could have multiple scenes, and particularly if I want to use the same character across multiple scenes, then therefore what we need to do is select frames to video. And in this video, we are going to be using frames to video because I'm going to show you how you could use one character across multiple scenes inside VEO3. Because I'm going to be using the same character across all my scenes, what I need to do before I start is I need to create a reference image. And what I mean by reference images basically is data sets. So let me show you what I mean by that. So again, if you go down to the bottom of your prompt and just select on frames to video, and it should say generate a video with text and frames. So if you click on this plus button, and then it brings up this screen over here, and this is the image that I actually created. So this was my first image that I created. Now, the way you could do this is in 2 ways. You could either use a stock video or stock image if you want, or you could actually get VEO3 to generate the image for you. So what I did was I actually used VEO3 to generate this image for me. Okay. So if I now go back to my first scene, and you can see, if I now click on my prompt, and you can see that this is the prompt that I used. And here on the right hand side, you can see this was the reference image that I've given it. So what I'm saying here is Sophie, which is the person. Now, what I found is that when we are trying to give prompts to VEO3, we need to be very cautious about what we say. What we don't want is lazy prompts, because if we don't actually put the details in what we're trying to do, then VEO3 won't give you the results that you're after. So it's very important that we actually give as much detail as possible so that VEO3 can give us what the results we're thriving for. So over here, what I'm saying is Sophie, which is this individual, which is the same woman from the Sophie master.png. So this image here, which I've now created, I've saved it as Sophie_master.png, and this is the reference image. And this is basically what we're saying here, sitting casually at a small table inside a modern London cafe at night. And what I've also specified here is that she is wearing her beige sweater and blue jeans. And what I'm also saying is that in the background, give some soft lighting, and also make sure that on the floor where it's been raining, it's wet, it shows that it's wet, and things like that as well. So what I want to do is that Sophie actually introduces herself. So the way I've done this here is that over here we say that she speaks with a synchronized lip sync and voice. And what I've done here is I've actually highlighted what she's going to say. Hi, my name is Sophie, and today I'll be showing you how to use VEO3 to generate videos. Come and take a walk with me. Now, if you want to make sure that your character is actually speaking, what you need to do is put it into, put it into inverted commas. So over here you can see I've done it over here, and that tells VEO3 that it needs to actually make or allow the character to be able to speak. What I will be doing is I will be putting all of the prompts, including how I generate the image and all the different scenes that I've also created, in my description. So each scene will have a prompt and also the image that I generated. So please feel free to go over to the description and pick it up. No need for you to actually try and copy it from the screen or pause the video. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually play this video or play this particular scene. So if I just click on the play button. Now what you notice was that if I go back, when I first started the video, here we go, she's actually holding an umbrella, right? And she's standing and holding an umbrella, and when I press the play button, it disappears. So the way to get rid of that is because the way I've used the image, obviously she's holding an umbrella. Now that's obviously coming in on the literally first milliseconds. So what we could do is, if you're using things like ScreenFlow or CapCut or any other tool, editing tools that you're using, just slim that out or trim that out, right? Okay, and that should be fine. Okay, so let's now move on to the second scene. So the second scene is, let me just open the prompt. Okay, and let me also show you what image I'm using here as a reference. So if I just click here, as you can see, this is the reference image I'm now using, and this is the same image of Sophie sitting on the cafe, right? This one over here, because I want to make sure that as the scene changes, the character still remains the same. So again, as I mentioned about your data set, you start with one reference image, and then you could actually start populating so many more. So if I just go back up over here, and if I look at the prompt, so what I'm saying is, I'm saying it's a continuation, right? Because what I want here is that I want Sophie, which is the same woman from the Sophie image.png, which is this image over here. So I've called that Sophie image.png and a reference, and sitting at a small table outside a modern London cafe. And again, as you notice here, I'm saying she's wearing the same beige knit sweater and light blue denim jeans as before. Make sure her jeans remain clearly blue denim, not black. And the reason why I said that is because when I initially ran the prompt, what actually happened was that when Sophie gets up, she wasn't wearing blue jeans, but I actually changed it to black. So I specified again to make sure that her jeans remain clearly blue. Okay, and what I'm saying over here is that I'm not actually specifying that she's going to do any speaking. She doesn't speak in this actual particular scene. And also what I've done is to give it a little bit of a cinematic look. I've asked it to give it the 4K quality, give it more realistic lighting, and also consistent outfit colors, right? So beige sweater, blue jeans, and the smooth motion tracking. So if I now play this scene, what will happen? Sophie will get up and she will start to walk away from the cafe. So that's the follow-up on the scene. Let's now move over to scene 3. So what we have here, before we move into scene 3, let me just show you what reference I'm using for the image. And if I just click on it, and that is the same reference that we used in the first scene, so which is the sophiemaster.png reference. And what I'm saying here is that Sophie is now walking down the road with the umbrella, and she's speaking as she is walking. And again, this is where I specified VEO3 doesn't just create realistic scenes, it understands mood, motion, and storytelling. Every frame feels alive. And again, giving it a little bit of a cinematic 4K lighting and realistic rain as well. And you can also see that the rain on her umbrella, and also you can see that her face is a little bit wet from the rain as well. So if I now play this scene, so far the three scenes are doing exactly what I expected it to do, so that's looking good. Okay, let's look at the fourth scene, which did something which I was not expecting when I actually created my prompts, when I was playing around with it. So let me run through that through with you and show you what's actually happened. So let's first of all look at image. We are still using the same reference image, which is fine, and you can see that the Sophie over here and the Sophie over there are completely matching, which is good. Now, one thing that I did over here was that, as I mentioned, she lowers the umbrella slightly, smiles softly and says with clear lip sync, "Things change but I stay the same." Now, let me show you what actually happened. What actually happened here, which I was not expecting, was that she actually sang she sang the song, right? Okay, she sang those lyrics of "Things change but I stay the same," and because she was singing, it actually added the music in the background, right? You know, it's like music, which was, and one of the things which I noticed was that when I was playing around with the prompts then, was that when I specified softly, it actually allowed her to sing, but when I actually removed that, she would actually just say the phrase of "Things change but I stay the same." So it's quite interesting that if you do want it to sing, you want your character to sing, you can actually start or try to add softly or one of these kind of prompts and see how you get on, because this was not something which I was planning to do, but I left it there because it felt pretty cool. Okay, then let's look at the last scene that we have. So let me just open up the prompt for this, and also let me just show you the reference that I'm using, which is this one over here. And if I show you what my kind of data set looks like, and I also experimented with so many different images and where Sophie was and what worked, what didn't quite work. So a lot of this is around experimental as well, because it can be a little bit tedious as well, because certain things tend to work, then they don't work, then you have to go back and change the image or rejig the prompt to get things to work. So in terms of what VEO3 can actually do, it's quite fascinating. It is mind-blowing, but also bearing in mind that it is still work in progress. Some of these functionalities are still in beta mode, so you are going to have some struggles with your prompts. Okay, so let me go back. And this last scene, if I play this, what you're going to see again.
And that's how I filmed 5 scenes without ever leaving the desk.
Now again, you can see, because I use this reference image, that as soon as I play the clip, this is the image that it gives me before it then translates into this image. So again, this is easily dealt with CapCut, ScreenFlow, or whichever editing tool. Just snip it out and that should be fine. So these were the 5 scenes. Now I want to show you how you could put these together, because one thing that you might have seen is, if I look over here, it says remove from scene. Again, remove from scene, because I've actually put these into our Google Flow as a timeline. So when you start creating your videos and you start experimenting to which one works, which one's not working, and then once you're happy with it, what you do is when you just actually hover over here, you'll see add to scene. Okay, so let me see if I can find one. Like for example here, this is the one I was messing around with and it didn't quite work for me. But you can see add to scene, but I didn't want to add this to my timeline. So if I now go over here to scene builder, okay, let it just load up. Perfect. So these are my 5 scenes. So this is now what I put together. So let's play this as one and see how it actually looks.
Hi, my name is Sophie, and today I'll be showing you how to use VEO 3 to generate videos. Come and take a walk with me. VEO 3 doesn't just create realistic scenes, it understands mood, motion and storytelling. Every frame feels alive.
Things change, but I stay the same.
And that's how I filmed 5 scenes without ever leaving my desk.
Now, just want to point something out. On this last scene, you can see that Sophie has definitely changed her characteristics from her facial perspective, right? So this is some of the challenge that you get, particularly when you move them out from one scene to another. And also, one of the things that I've also noticed is that when you're running like 1 or 2 scenes, it's pretty standard, it's pretty tight in terms of it keeps those characteristics. But as soon as you start to add a lot more scenes, like 3, 4, 5, and so forth, that's when things start to change as well. And that's something which I've also noticed when I've been experimenting with the VEO 3, with the different images and the different scenes as well. So what you can then do, once you're happy with this timeline, what you do is over here, if you want to change things around, you just, these 3 dots over here, it says arrange, you just click on that, and then you could just start changing things around. And you could also run your prompts from here as well if you wanted to, it's not a problem. And if you're done with that, you just click on the done button. And if you want to download all of this as one go, rather than separate scenes or separate little small videos, you could just click on the download button here. And then the best thing would be that once you've downloaded it, you can then upload it into your CapCut or whichever editing tool that you're using. And then you could basically edit those slight little trims that we talked about earlier. And then you've got yourself a fantastic video, right? You know, in terms of how we use VEO 3. So this is how I use VEO 3 to build these 5 scenes. And basically, I hope that you liked it and you enjoyed it and the tutorial was useful to you. And I'll be interested to see how you're using the VEO 3 tool, what kind of challenges that you may be facing as well. But thank you for your time, and I appreciate that you're watching, and consider subscribing, and please do like and share the video. Until next time, stay safe.
My name is Sophie, and today I'll be showing you how to use VEO 3 to generate videos. Come and take a walk with me. VEO 3 doesn't just create realistic scenes, it understands mood, motion and storytelling. Every frame feels alive.
Things change, but I stay the same.
That's how I filmed 5 scenes without ever leaving my desk.